Hi David, I couldn't make it to the slaughterhouse today. I got halfway there and yeah, there's really bad weather here, so there's loads of roads closed and there's lots of trees falling down, so I had to come back and I'm just going to live stream from home. So hopefully I get a few people joining and I can explain to people what is happening within these industries anyway. Share some facts and just share the reality of what is happening in these animal agriculture industries and the dark secrets which they don't want you to hear. So thank you anyone who's joining me anyway. So whoever has just joined, I can see that there's one person in here. I couldn't make it to the slaughterhouse today because of the weather. There's really bad storms here in the south. So I've had to just come back home and I'm just going to be talking about what happens in these industries from here, from home, and directing people towards the other live streams as well for people who are outside of the slaughterhouses today. So I'll just wait a few more minutes and see if anyone else joins me. No, stop. I don't want to start a poll. Hi, so whoever's just joined, thank you so much for being here. I couldn't make it to the slaughterhouse today, but I'm here to share what happens in the animal agriculture industries and direct people towards the live stream, the project live stream, which is happening right now. So there's activists, animal rights activists who are live streaming on YouTube all around the world, basically showing people what is happening in the animal agriculture industries, the dark secrets and the lies that they want to hide from us all. So yeah, let me know if there's anyone here. Let me know what is stopping you from being vegan if you're not already vegan, and we can have a bit of a chat about it, because there's actually no justifiable reason to not be vegan. So hopefully I get a few people joining anyway and we can have a bit of a chat. Let me know in the chat if you're here, say hi. Just give me a little bit of a wave, double tap the screen so I know that there's people in here, and just let me know if you're either vegan or if you're open to becoming vegan. Hi Matt, how are you? I'm here to basically share about what happens in the animal agriculture industries, because there's lots and lots of secrets which they hide from people and don't want people to know. So there's currently activists, animal rights activists all over the world who are live streaming on YouTube outside slaughterhouses, showing the animals going in, because they are the same as us in all the ways that it matters, and these things are hidden from us so that we don't see them, and so that people continue paying for these things when they don't actually need to. So you can actually go on to Mel and Steve's account. I don't know how to put a message in here. I don't know how to put a message into the chat, but if you go onto Mel and Steve's account, you'll see that they're currently live streaming outside a slaughterhouse right now. So if you're not vegan, why are you not vegan? Let me know your reasons for not being vegan, for exploiting animals, because in 2026 we actually now know that we don't need to. So we do not need to exploit and murder animals for their skin, flesh, wool, milk, anything else. I was vegan for about 6 months. I just did juicing, fruit and veg, and lost loads of weight. Okay, so are you saying that's a good thing or not? I'm not sure what you mean by that. But yeah, veganism isn't actually a diet. Diet is just one small part of it because we exploit animals for food. So are you saying that you were trying a plant-based diet? But that sounds a bit like radical. I don't know why you would just live off juice. But if you felt healthy, then each to their own. And any diet can be either healthy or not healthy. So a full plant-based diet, a whole foods plant-based diet, can actually be really, really healthy for us, and is very healthy for us and beneficial for our health. There's lots of medical conditions that are reduced or eliminated by living on a full plant-based diet. But the main thing about veganism, obviously the only thing that someone would be vegan for, is for the animals. So health and environment are actually just benefits. People think that veganism is an actual diet, but it's not. There's a full plant-based diet, and a whole foods plant-based diet can actually be really, really healthy. Can we just... What? No, I'm not going to read that weird comment out. Yeah, but let me know if you are vegan, if you're in the chat, if you're vegan, or if you're open to learning about what happens in the animal exploitation industries, and I can share some facts, I can share some information, because I didn't know all this either until about a year ago. So basically, okay, so you're open to it, that's good. So what's actually stopping you from aligning your morals with your actions and not exploiting animals anymore? Matt, yeah, okay, so how come you went back? You said that you were vegan, Matt. I don't believe that you can be vegan and then go back to exploiting animals because it means that you didn't make that full connection with the animals. So I'm not saying this in like a shitty way, obviously, but I just mean if you made the connection and went vegan for the animals, then there's probably a high chance that you wouldn't have gone back to exploiting animals again. So hi everyone else who's in here. I'm here to talk about what happens in the animal agriculture industries and spread some awareness, help people draw awareness to the reality of what happens. So for example, in the dairy industry, I didn't used to know this either, but in the dairy industry, cows, there's no such thing as a dairy cow. There are cows who are used for dairy. So usually I go to a slaughterhouse, and that's why I'm here on this live stream, because I should have been standing outside a slaughterhouse right now today, but I couldn't because of the weather. Like there's storms here near where I live, and there's lots of roads closed, so I actually had to turn around. But usually I live stream on YouTube. You can actually go to my other videos, my other live stream videos, and have a look for yourself. You can have a look for yourself what actually happens and what they actually want to keep hidden from us, because they don't want people to know what happens in these industries so that people carry on paying for them. So yeah, with dairy cows, for example, cows are, this is absolutely horrendous when you actually think about it. So cows are forcibly impregnated as soon as they're old enough to have a baby. So for humans, that would be basically like a young teenager. So when they're really still quite young, they start to be forcibly impregnated against their will. So the farmers basically put them in these huge racks, and it's absolutely horrendous. The cows cannot move, they can't escape. They're trying to get out, and you can see the look in their eyes. It's just horrific. You can see the look in their eyes. They're trying to escape. They know something bad is happening to them. The cow gets bull semen, which they've actually electro-ejaculated from a bull, which is disgusting in itself. They get the semen in this metal rod. They put their arm down the anus of the cow, go through her anus, and basically go through the lining and inject the semen into her to force her into pregnancy. So it's not even as if she chose to be pregnant. So then after 9 months of carrying her baby, the same time as a human, After 9 months of carrying her baby, she then, once she gives birth, her babies are taken away. So usually they let them suckle a little bit so that the milk comes down. But then after that, literally within usually the first 48 hours, they take the babies away and separate them, and the cows scream and cry and mourn for days and days and days, because obviously they're maternal animals, they're mammals just like us, and they have that strong connection with their babies. So yeah, that like they get taken away, which to most other mothers and parents or anyone, even if you're not a parent, surely you can imagine how disgusting that is. They're taken away. Then the boys are killed immediately, because obviously they can't be forcibly impregnated and start to create milk. The girls are put back into the same system as their mothers. The boys are taken to slaughterhouses and murdered, like brutally killed really young. You can actually see footage of this online. So if you go onto YouTube, you can watch a documentary called Dominion on there. That's a really, really informative, great documentary. So then once the cow has been forcibly impregnated over and over again, it's usually every year so that her milk continues to flow. Every single year that happens to her, and she has her baby taken away until she's about 4 or 5 years old. She's then killed and made into cheap burgers, and also their skin is used, so their skin is removed and made into handbags, basically leather items, all things that we don't need when there are actual alternatives now. So this is why I'm trying to spread this awareness and to literally keep people informed, because they lie about these industries so that people continue to fund them. And also it's really important for people to know that veganism isn't a diet. It's actually the ethical principle that says humans should not exploit other animals. I was on a plant-based diet for around 5 years, thinking that I was mostly vegan. I used to tell people I'm mostly vegan, but you can't actually be mostly vegan, just like you can't be mostly against the oppression of women. Like you can't be mostly anti-racist. You either are or you aren't. And I also didn't understand what veganism was, because I thought it was a diet. So I thought it was a plant-based diet, but it's not. It's a whole principle of against all uses of animals, basically. So vegans don't exploit animals for their skin, wool, feathers, flesh. So we obviously don't eat meat, but also their milk, eggs. We wouldn't go to zoos or any like prisons where they're kept and forced to entertain humans against their will. Yeah, exactly. The Jamie Oliver's turkey sheds, they were absolutely disgusting. Yeah, so if you also go onto Joey Carbstrong's account, you can see there what happens to turkeys. So there's a company called what's he called? Something Bronze Turkeys, Kelly Bronze Turkeys, and he claims to have like the highest welfare standards and treat them really well and all that kind of stuff. But then Joey Carbstrong exposed this whole horrific farm. They were abusing the turkeys. They were literally like swinging them round by their necks. They were just leaving them to die and to rot. Like, it was just absolutely horrendous to see. But this happens all the time. So this isn't actually an exception. It is absolutely disgusting. Compare the life expectancy of a vegan versus a normal diet. What is a normal diet? Like, we're not actually supposed to consume flesh from other animals. We only would have consumed their flesh in a survival situation. When we first came down from the trees as apes, we only would have consumed about 1% of flesh in our diet, because when we couldn't find enough edible plants. So I don't know what you mean by a normal diet, because that's exactly what I used to think as well. I used to think that veganism was extreme, but like I just said, veganism isn't a diet. You're talking about a whole foods plant-based diet, which is actually the healthiest on the planet. So just get out of your head that veganism is a diet, because it's not. Like, everyone thinks that it's a diet and it's not. It's an ethical principle against animal slavery and exploitation. And we can thrive on a full plant-based diet. That's why all of the major dietetic associations all around the world confirm this. You can be healthy and happy on a full plant-based diet, which I can bet you any money I'm stronger and fitter than you. If you go onto any of my other videos, you will see that I am strong. I am absolutely fine. I'm healthy, and you can be healthy and thrive. You actually thrive on a plant-based diet. There's actually, like, it's recommended, for example, with people with type 2 diabetes, live on a plant-based diet because of how beneficial it is and because of how healthy it is. It's literally a myth that you can't be healthy on a full plant-based diet, because these animal agriculture industries want you to believe this misinformation so that you carry on funding these industries. For balance, there are people who eat meat and they are wrong. We are humans, and meat eating evolved and expanded our brains like gorillas and the bigger monkeys. Just because we've always done something, it doesn't mean to say that it's okay. And also, there's actually no scientific evidence that says that because we ate animal flesh, our brains grew bigger. There's no actual scientific evidence that says that. And if there is, please share it with me here, because that is, like, we thrive on a full plant-based diet. We don't need to eat animal flesh to survive. So when people think about veganism, they literally think it's like the opposite of meat eating, but it's not. It's not a diet. Like, I don't actually know how many times I have to say this. When the facts are in front of you and you just will not believe the facts, like, I'm telling you that it's not a diet, and you just won't stop thinking about meat. It's like people are so addicted to animal flesh and their secretions that they cannot get out of their head that veganism is not a diet. So veganism is the ethical principle that says humans should not exploit other animals. It's about not wearing their skin, not seeing them as commodities, not eating their flesh, wearing their fur, taking their feathers off that aren't actually ours. Those things aren't ours to take, they're theirs. It's their eggs, their skin, their wool, their flesh. Who are we to take it when we don't need to? It's 2026. If you think that you need to eat animals' flesh and secretions to be healthy, then go onto my profile, look at my other videos. I am walking, living proof that you can be strong, fit and healthy on a full plant-based diet. But also, there's worldwide athletes all over the place who are on a full plant-based diet, and they say it's the healthiest they have ever been. Not only that, but it's scientifically proven that we can be healthy on a full plant-based diet. So just get out of your head for like 2 minutes that veganism is a diet. And do you agree that we shouldn't exploit other animals? Because if you agree that we shouldn't abuse, exploit and torture other animals, then you are vegan deep down, and it's just about aligning your morals with your actions. So yeah, let me know if you're vegan in the chat. Maybe just let me know if you're open to learning about what happens to animals in your name. Let me know if you're actually open to not exploiting animals anymore, and we can have a bit of a chat about what happens to animals in your name, because I didn't used to know these things either. And I'm not here to try and upset anyone. I'm not here to try and piss anyone off. I literally just want to help people align their morals with their actions, because I didn't used to know what happened either. Vegan means I don't eat animals. Am I vegan? That's not what vegan means. That's not what vegan means. I've just said like 5 times that veganism is an ethical principle that says humans should not exploit animals. Vegetarian is something completely different from veganism. People think that vegetarian and vegan is the same, and it's not. Veganism is an ethical principle. It's an anti-animal slavery movement. Vegetarianism is a diet which just eliminates one form of animal exploitation out of just the diet. So it just means that you don't eat animal flesh. That's not what veganism is. Veganism is the ethical principle that says humans should not exploit other animals. And if you don't know what happens to animals in your name, then go onto YouTube, type in Dominion, the documentary, and you will see for yourself what happens to other animals, because I did not know these things either. And these things are all hidden from us. That's why I'm here live streaming today, because I should have been outside streaming outside of a slaughterhouse, showing people the reality of what happens to animals, but I couldn't make it today because of the weather. So if you go onto my other videos as well and go onto my other live streams, you can actually see when I've been to these places before, you can see the animals going in, and it's absolutely horrific. They literally look into your eyes begging for you to help because they don't want to die and they know what's about to happen to them. So if you've not seen slaughterhouse footage for yourself, then I highly recommend you go on onto YouTube, type in Dominion, the documentary, and find out what happens for animals in your name, because we don't need to wear their skin, wear their wool. We don't need to exploit them for their flesh. We don't need to murder them. Like, it's just absolutely horrendous, and we shouldn't be breeding these animals into existence. Do you buy leather, hypocrite? No, I don't buy leather. Are your clothes vegan, hypocrite? Yes, my clothes are vegan. Why would I be so stupid to talk about what is happening to other animals sat here wearing animals? Like, do you really think that I'd be that stupid? No, I don't wear animals. I'm vegan. That's what veganism is. You don't exploit animals for anything. Like, I wouldn't be sat here wearing their skin or their wool talking about animal exploitation. Like, I'm not that stupid. Vegans don't exploit animals. We don't see them as commodities. So that would be very hypocritical. Yes, I agree. But no, I don't do that. It's also like vegans don't buy cosmetics or toiletries that are tested on animals either. We check all of our toiletries that we buy to make sure that they're not tested on animals. I've worked at a meat packaging plant, not by choice, but as a job placement. It sucked. Okay, that's great that you shared that, because a lot of people do actually get PTSD and serious medical conditions as well, like mental health conditions and medical conditions from those sorts of jobs. And it's a real shame that you had to do that at the time. But, you know, how was that experience? Maybe share that experience, and how do you feel after it? Like, you know, after seeing that, do you feel like you'd be more able to go vegan and not exploit animals because you've seen that kind of thing for yourself? Do you eat Nutella? I don't eat Nutella, but I'm not sure. I don't know if that's vegan or not, but I don't eat it, no. Let me see some of the other comments. Is killing billions of animals a year to build housing, phones, sustained logics, infrastructure acceptable, etc.? Because if it isn't, you wouldn't be sat in your house using a phone. So veganism isn't about accidental deaths. Like, that's a really good question, and I'm sure other people have that question as well. Veganism isn't about accidental deaths. It's about not exploiting other animals and intentionally murdering them when we don't need to. So by saying, oh, you're just, you know, you're sat in a house and that was built, and that and animals had to be killed for your house to build, those are accidental deaths. That's not intentional exploitation for something that we don't need. That would be like saying we might as well just go around murdering people in cars and knocking people over for fun, because there's a chance that we might accidentally drive someone over on the road accidentally, so we might as well just do it on purpose. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Veganism is about not exploiting and murdering animals intentionally when we don't need to. So saying like, oh, crop deaths, or but what about your house that you live in and you use a phone? If accidental deaths happened, like, potentially humans could have accidentally died whilst they were building the house. That's got nothing to do with veganism. Veganism is a principle that says humans should not exploit other animals. Okay, so Turbot, I'm not sure if you're an actual robot, but you're not actually coming up with logical justifications to not be vegan. So I'm actually just going to ignore your argument, because I actually want to, I want to talk to people who have empathy and who care about others, rather than just trolls who don't have empathy and who don't actually care. Like, the reason I'm spreading this awareness and telling people to watch these documentaries and giving people this information is because I do believe that there's good people out there who don't want to harm and exploit animals. But when there's people coming up with like horrific excuses to try and justify their unnecessary desires and selfish desires, I'm not interested in reaching those people. Like, I'm interested in speaking to people who are empathetic, like the guy a second ago who said that he worked in a meat processing facility and like packaging. He sounds like he's compassionate and has empathy. He understands how horrific it was. So that's the kind of person who I want to try and reach. It is logical. Like, I'm not going to speak to people who don't have empathy. It's completely logical. There's no justification to not be vegan and to continue exploiting animals. There's no justification for it. So I'm guessing from what you're saying, you don't live in a house. Like, it's just absolutely nonsensical. So, serious question. Can you explain why 70 to 84% of all vegans return to meat? Okay, so that is a good question. Thank you for asking. So veganism isn't about meat, just so you know. People think that the opposite of veganism is meat eating, and it's not. So why did you not talk about leather or wool or any of the other forms of animal exploitation? That's what I'm really intrigued to know, because veganism isn't a diet. Like, it doesn't matter how many times I say it. People just don't want to believe that it's not a diet, because then they'd have to admit that they agree with the principle, and it's just so frustrating. But yeah, you said that 70 to 80% of people apparently go back to eating meat. Do you mean to exploiting animals? So basically they were just trying a plant-based diet. They hadn't connected with the animals. So nobody goes vegan for their health or for the environment. Those are just benefits. People go vegan when you actually go vegan and you're against animal exploitation, which is what veganism is. It means that you've made the connection with the animals, that we shouldn't be exploiting them. So people who go back to not being on a plant-based diet, it means that they didn't actually go vegan in the first place. So they were probably still exploiting animals for their skin, leather, for wool, for entertainment, all of those things as well. Lots of people try a plant-based diet for a few weeks and then go, oh no, I can't be bothered actually, because they haven't actually made that connection with the animals. So that's a really good question, but that is the answer. Not many people actually go vegan and then go back, because when you understand it's a justice movement, it's really hard to then go back to exploiting animals. Like, it's very, very rare for that to happen. So yeah, thanks for that question. Let's see what other... Yeah, so if you go onto my other videos, you can actually see I've live streamed outside of slaughterhouses in the past, and I was supposed to be there today, live streaming outside a slaughterhouse. I was supposed to be live streaming outside a slaughterhouse, but I couldn't get there because of the storms here. The roads were closed, so I couldn't get there. You're saying that my jumper is made out of wool. That actually is the wrong way round, but that says 100% polyester. It's the wrong way around because of the screen. Here, it says 100% polyester. Do you really think I'd be that stupid to sit here talking about animal exploitation wearing someone's wool? Like, veganism is the ethical principle that says humans should not exploit animals. It's not a diet. I wouldn't be sat here wearing someone's wool if I was talking about animal exploitation. Like, it would be absolutely insane. Ridiculous. But yeah, thank you so much for the comments. Thank you for the messages. Please, if there's anyone actually open to learning about what happens in the animal agriculture industries, go onto YouTube and you can watch the documentary called Dominion. Yeah, if you go onto there, you can watch the documentary called Dominion and learn about what happens to these industries that they don't want you to know. Yeah, because I didn't used to know either what happens, and yeah, I found out about a year ago, almost a year ago now, and I was on a full plant-based diet for about 5 years, not knowing what was actually happening. Like, I hadn't seen slaughterhouse footage and I hadn't connected with the animals. So yeah, veganism isn't a plant-based diet. It's the principle that says humans should not exploit other animals. And it's really important that you go and see these things for yourself, because they purposely hide them from us so that people carry on paying for these industries when they don't actually know what's happening. And it's so dishonest, like so dishonest. Naturally collected wool. Okay, so what about naturally collected hair from humans who haven't consented to it? Would you think that that is still exploitation or not? If you started taking the hair off humans that spoke a different language and didn't understand what was actually happening without them consenting, would you say that that's exploitation or not? It's about not seeing them as resources and commodities. So whether they're harmed or not, veganism isn't about reducing harm alone. Like, it's actually about exploitation and not using them and oppressing them and exploiting them. Yeah, thanks guys for being open. I know there's a few people in here who are slightly open to what I'm saying. There's a few people who are just not even worth the time, because obviously there are actually people who don't care. And it's not about reaching those people. It's about reaching the people who do have empathy and who don't want to exploit animals, but they just don't know what's happening to them. So yeah, go on to Dominion. I'll show you my best friend. Go on to Dominion on YouTube. Go on there. Go on to Dominion. Watch Dominion on YouTube. Find out the reality of what's happening to animals in your name. Hello. You gonna say hello? Hello, little boy. Yeah, go onto YouTube, go and watch Dominion. Go on to Mel and Steve's. So if you type in Mel and Steve live stream, you should be able to go onto their live stream, because they're currently outside a slaughterhouse in the UK right now, showing people what happens in these industries. So you actually see the animals being taken in, and it's absolutely horrific. So I should have been at a slaughterhouse today live streaming, but I couldn't get there because there were trees falling down after bad weather in the south of England. So I couldn't get there today, and I'm just live streaming from home, sharing people the facts about what happens in the animal agriculture and the animal exploitation industries. So for example, if you disagree with whales and dolphins being in captivity, and if you disagree with fur coats, and if you disagree with, like, you know, some other exploitation industries for animals, then why don't you disagree with all of the other types of exploitation? yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why not be against all forms of animal exploitation rather than just some? Because it's like people will just follow the crowd and just go along with what other people are doing at the time. And in 50 or 60 years, people are going to look back and think, what on earth were we actually doing to these animals? Because it's absolutely horrific what we are doing to animals, particularly farmed animals, and even like whales and dolphins in captivity, for example. There's an orca who was the same age as me almost, like 33 years old, and he'd been in captivity for 30 years, just in the same small, tiny tank, not even, I think it was about twice his length, and that is just absolutely disgusting. Like, we shouldn't be exploiting animals. And I think a lot of people would actually disagree with those things happening to whales and dolphins, but then they exploit animals for their skin, so they are happy to kill cows for their skin and for their flesh, and it just doesn't add up. Like, why not just be against all forms of animal exploitation rather than just some? So if there's anyone in here who is actually open to this and open to not exploiting animals, then let me know in the chat and we can have a bit of a talk about it. If there's people who are just trolling, then amazing. Thank you so much for being here anyway and helping with the algorithm. Your other vegan friend protesting in the south of England has Botox that is tested on animals. They are currently getting bullied in their stream. Okay. That is just absolutely so random. Like, somebody just told me that I was wearing a wool jacket, a wool jumper. Why would I be doing that? If you're talking about Jo, she's an absolutely incredible defender of the animals, and she would not have anything in her face or on her body or eating anything to do with animals. Like, why do you think that we would be so stupid? We don't exploit animals for anything. Why would we start pumping animals into our face? Like, we don't want to harm, torture, or exploit animals. We live by our principles and our values. We don't fake it like most other people do. Most other people say that they're against animal exploitation and animal torture, but then they actively participate in it, which is just absolutely insane. So why not just align your morals with your actions, stop exploiting animals and live vegan? It's really, really, really easy in 2026 to live without exploiting animals for their skin, flesh, wool, fur, testing on their bodies for entertainment purposes. It's actually really, really easy to be healthy and not exploit animals. That's exploiting your dog. Okay, so do you think, like, when ex-farm animals are taken to sanctuaries and looked after because they've been saved from being slaughtered, and they take photos of them and put them on social media, do you think that that's exploitation? Like, how is that the same? How is me taking photos of my dog the same as sending a pig into a gas chamber whilst they literally scream for their lives and burn from the inside out? Like, it's not exploitation. My dogs are my babies. Like, they are my babies. That's just like somebody saying, taking a photo of your baby, your child, is exploitation of your child, and comparing that to what is happening to other animals. It's just absolutely crazy. Yeah, and dogs and cats can actually be healthy on a full plant-based diet. So my dog is on a full plant-based diet, which is, the business is actually owned by a vet. And it's actually scientifically proven now as well that dogs and cats are healthier on a full plant-based diet. So I've done loads of research on this and looked at loads of studies, but dogs and cats do not need to eat animal flesh to be healthy and happy. So my dog is plant-based because dogs and cats can't be vegan, because veganism is a mindset. It's a mindset that humans should not exploit animals. So dogs and cats cannot obviously physically have that mindset, but they can be healthy and happy on a full plant-based diet. I don't have pets. I have a companion animal. I don't have pets. Like, pets is quite a derogatory term. I have a companion animal. He's my best friend. He is, you know, the love of my life, and I would do anything for him. I look after him. I don't exploit him. I don't sell his fur. I don't use him for entertainment. I don't like sell his body parts. I don't make him dance for people, which are all things that people pay for when they're not vegan. Yeah, so having a companion animal that you've rescued is not exploitation. Buying an animal from a breeder is exploitation. So I did actually buy my dog from a breeder before I was vegan, before I understood and had connected with the animals. I bought him from a breeder, which is completely unethical. But in the same way as, like, I used to eat animal flesh and their secretions, I used to wear their skin before I understood about animal exploitation. I unfortunately also bought my dog from a breeder because I didn't understand that that was exploitation. But obviously, somebody exploiting a mother dog's womb just to make money and sell her babies, that is absolutely horrific, and it's something that we should absolutely not be doing. So yeah, having a pet is exploitation. If you buy the pet, if you buy them from a breeder, then it's exploitation. But if you are rescuing animals, whatever type of animal that is, if they're a domesticated animal and you rescue them, it's actually doing a good thing, because we've domesticated certain species of animals for so long that we actually need to give them a happy home and look after them. So yeah, thanks for your questions. That's like saying, I didn't make these drugs, I just take them. I'm not sure. Yeah, they're secretions. So eggs and milk are secretions of animals. Obviously, chickens' eggs, that's a secretion. Milk is a secretion from cows. A lot of people don't actually know that cows don't just produce milk. They produce milk because they're forced into pregnancy against their will. So you can actually see footage of this online everywhere. It's just absolutely horrendous. So yeah. She just said her dogs eat plant-based food. Yes, they have plant-based food. Like, they have dried dog food, which is plant-based, because dogs can be really, really healthy and are really healthy on full plant-based, specially formulated food. The food that I buy our dog food from is actually formulated and sold by a vet. So he has extensive knowledge and research in the area. So there's people laughing here that are saying, ha ha ha, she said that her dog is on a plant-based diet. But are you a vet? Like, are you a vet? Because I buy my dog food from a vet who knows what he's doing, who knows what he's talking about. And they sell a lot of it, because now a lot of people, like all vegans, if they're properly vegan, then they would be feeding their dogs a plant-based diet too, because why would we murder other animals just to feed our own when we don't need to? Yeah. Go and Google it. Like, you don't even need to look that far. My best friend is a vet. You have no idea what you're talking about. Oh my God. Just go and Google, can dogs be healthy on a full plant-based diet? Just go and Google it. Like, you're saying that I have no idea what I'm talking about. Go out of this live stream, do a quick Google search, come back into it and report back. Because it doesn't actually take a lot. Like, you're acting like I'm the stupid one, but you don't actually understand simple facts. Like, I don't understand when, like, so if I saw something like this and someone was sharing facts about the animal agriculture industries and animal exploitation, if I saw something like this, I'd be like, actually, I'm just going to go away and question it and do my own research. But people just spout the most random stuff without actually knowing facts. Like, just go and Google it yourself. It's really not hard. Like, you are actually so brainwashed that you don't even realise it. Hi, Jake, how are you? I've got lots of trolls. I was supposed to be at the slaughterhouse today, but I had to turn around and come back. I got halfway there, but the weather's been really bad and there's loads of roads closed because trees have fallen down. So I'm just live streaming at home and talking about animal exploitation and these industries. I've got lots of people saying that I'm being cruel to my dog because I'm feeding him a plant-based diet, but all they need to do is do a simple Google search and you'll find out. Like, you're just so brainwashed and indoctrinated, it's unbelievable. Go and Google it. Like, if you don't believe me, then just use ChatGPT, Google it, and then come back. Dogs can be healthy and happy on a plant-based diet, and most of the time they're even healthier because of all of the disgusting stuff that they put in meat-based dog food, or even like the animals who are pumped with hormones and antibiotics in the animal agriculture industries. All of that disgusting stuff that, let alone the cruelty and the barbaric shit that happens to the animals, all of that stuff that those animals are pumped full with is just absolutely gross. So yeah, if you've just joined, I'm here sharing a bit of truth and facts about what happens in the animal exploitation industries because they're all hidden from us. I was supposed to be at a slaughterhouse today. I couldn't make it because of the weather. So I should have been live streaming outside a slaughterhouse to show people the reality of what happens in these industries. But instead, I'm here at home talking about these things instead. So Jake said, my vet said she couldn't say either way. She recommended a dog nutritionist. I add taurine in their food sometimes. Yeah, so our dogs are absolutely thriving. They absolutely love it. They're super, super healthy. I've Googled it. I've actually looked at scientific papers and research, like dogs and cats now as well, are actually healthier on a full plant-based, specially formulated food. There's a few studies that I saw that actually said that it's healthier to have them on plant-based food because of all of the stuff that ends up in meat. Even just thinking about it, like, it's basically like the scrapings off a slaughterhouse floor. Today's dogs and cats often get put into dog and cat food as well, to like bulk it up, and that's why often dogs and cats will so often get cancers and things like that because of all of the grim stuff that's put in their food. So it's actually healthier for them to be on a plant-based diet. And yeah, if you don't believe me, then just go and Google it, like I said. It's okay for birds and small mammals to die to feed her, but not cows and pigs. So what do you think the 80 billion land animals that are bred into existence every year, what do you think they eat and get fed? There's 8 billion humans on the planet and 80 billion land animals who are bred into existence every year, and that doesn't even take into account sea animals. Who do you think is being fed more crops? And also, even if veganism was about accidental deaths, which it's not, veganism is the ethical principle that says humans should not exploit other animals. So it's about exploitation, not about accidental deaths. Even if it was about accidental deaths, you are still murdering more animals because the animals that you eat are fed crops. So you have to take into account the 10 times more animals that it requires the 10 times more animals that are killed within the farming of crops that are fed to the animals that you eat. You have to take that into consideration as well. So it's literally just basic maths. We have to eat something, so why not just eat what causes the least amount of exploitation or harm? Well, zero exploitation, just less harm. But that's why veganism isn't about harm reduction. Like, we're not just trying to reduce harm. Like, obviously the intention is to reduce harm as well, but the main point of veganism is to avoid all forms of exploitation. See what other people are saying. Subscribed and supporting, thank you very much. Yeah, you can click the 6-minute documentary in the description of this video to see the reality of what is happening in these industries for yourself. I know that there's a lot of trolls in here today in the chat that are helping with the algorithm, which is absolutely amazing. But without a doubt, there's got to at least be 1 or 2 people who aren't vegan yet, who are open and willing to learn about what happens in their name to other animals. So you can actually click on the first link in the description of this video and it takes you to a 6-minute documentary and you can see what happens to animals in your name. Because I didn't used to know either, and I only found out about a year ago, which is when I went properly vegan. Before that, I was plant-based for around 5 years, thinking that I was vegan, but I was still wearing their skin, so I was still wearing leather. Like I said, I still bought our dog from a breeder because I didn't understand that that was exploitation and that isn't a vegan thing to do. So yeah, I saw slaughterhouse footage at the start of last year, and instantly it just clicked. Everything clicked into place. The blindfold came off. I was just like wide awake as to the reality of what had been hidden from me for so long. It's all hidden so that people continue paying for these things, even though they naturally wouldn't pay for these things if they actually knew what was happening, because I do believe that there are good people out there who don't want to exploit and torture animals, but because these industries hide it from us, they do pay for them, because people also believe that it's necessary when it's not. Plants are living, but they're not sentient. So that's a good question. They're living, but not sentient. So you probably wouldn't, plants don't have a central nervous system and a spine. They don't have the ability to perceive the world around them and experience the world like we do. They don't feel the same emotions as animals do. So you wouldn't say that it's the same thing to cut a tomato in half and cut a baby cow in half. You would probably feel a bit more emotional seeing the baby cow cut in half, because obviously humans naturally are quite empathetic, and we know that obviously plants being cut and chopped up doesn't necessarily ignite a certain emotion in us, whereas seeing animals being murdered and tortured, we know that that's wrong. It's not actually the same thing. And it's there's a lot of people that try to justify exploiting animals by saying plants feel pain, which is just ridiculous, because you can't exploit a plant, but you can exploit a sentient being, because obviously humans are animals as well. We're just a different type of animal. We're just different species to the ones that we exploit. So it's just about becoming a bit more aware of this and understanding that other species of animals are the same as us in all the ways that it matters. You've made veganism your personal identity. I don't really care what you want to label it. You don't even have to use the word vegan. All I want is for people to stop exploiting and torturing animals. Like, I'm very, very, very enthusiastic, and it's a very important issue because there are literally billions every single day. There's billions of animals being tortured and murdered unnecessarily. So, yeah, thanks. I don't know, maybe that's a compliment. You've made veganism a part of your, you've made veganism your identity. Don't know if that's supposed to be a compliment or not, but don't really care, to be honest. Like, you can call it what you want. You can say that it's part of my identity or not. Like, I don't really care. All I want is for people to stop exploiting and torturing animals. I am 100% vegetarian, but take milk only because of protein. Okay, Vikash, is it? Vikash? Can you not, you can get protein from other sources. You don't need to take baby cow's milk that's not actually ours. So do you actually know what happens to cows for you to get that dairy? You can get protein from soy milk, you can now get plant-based cheeses. I eat a lot of tofu and seitan, so you don't need to drink baby cow's milk to get protein. So let me know if you're open to chatting about that and open to learning a little bit more about it. Are you the guy that said that you're in India? I'm not sure, maybe you're in India, but yeah, there's still loads of plant-based options. I've been there myself. Like, you can still get soy milk, you can still get different options for protein. You don't need to drink baby cow's milk or eat, when it's turned into cheese to get protein. You can get protein from other amazing, incredible, yummy plant-based sources. It's just about doing a little bit of research. Yes, you are from India. Amazing. Okay, yeah. So what would be stopping you from living vegan and living without exploiting animals? Is there anything that's stopping you from aligning your morals with your actions? Do you feel like animals shouldn't be exploited in your name? What about eating invasive fish to protect local ecosystems? Why would you eat fish to protect local ecosystems? Like, fishing is absolutely horrendous for the environment. That is just the most ridiculous comment. Seriously, like, fishing, we are overfishing and we're literally killing so many different species because we're destroying the oceans from overfishing. Like, that isn't even a logical thing to say. So I don't even know what to say to that. We shouldn't be taking fish out of the sea when we don't need to. We should just leave nature, leave all of the animals, just leave them be and just live on a healthy plant-based diet. But like I said, veganism isn't a diet. It's the principle that says humans should not exploit other animals. We just use animals for food, but we don't need to. But we also use them and exploit them and torture them for their skin, for their wool, for their eggs, for their entertainment, for their bodies. So we test on them when we don't need to. And it's all just one big massive money-making scam. We are omnivores by nature. Yes, exactly. So that means that you have a choice. You can eat a full plant-based diet. So as omnivores, that means that you're not a carnivore, so you don't have to consume animals to be healthy. You have an option. You have the choice. You are an omnivore. Yes, you are right, but we are built biologically, we're supposed to live off plants. It just means that we would have eaten animals in a survival situation, but now we don't need to do that. That's why so many people who consume so many animal products get really unhealthy, and heart disease, cancers, Parkinson's disease, these are all eating animals and their milk and eggs are all leading causes for these health conditions. No, it means we need both, or we would have evolved as a herbivore. No, we don't need both. What? Right, okay, so Josh, I can see your profile photo. I can guarantee I am so much healthier and stronger than you. Like, go on to my other videos. I have been healthy on a full plant-based diet now for around 7 years. I am perfectly healthy and very, very strong. There are also worldwide athletes who I can guarantee are stronger and healthier than you, who are living proof that you can be on a full plant-based diet. And there's also loads and loads of studies to say that you can be healthy on a full plant-based diet. Basing your health off the looks of someone isn't very woke of you, lady. I'm saying that he's... I'm not here to be woke. If he's talking about health and saying that you need to eat animals to be healthy, and I can see his profile photo and I can guarantee that I'm healthier than him, then that just completely abolishes his argument. I'm not here to be woke and I'm not here to please people. I'm here to disprove arguments of people saying that we need to eat animals to be healthy. But like I've already said a million times before, this isn't just about diet. Like, people literally cannot take their attention away from the diet side of veganism because they think it is a diet, but it's not. It's the principle that says humans should not exploit other animals. It's nothing to do with diet. It's just because we exploit animals for food. It's not a diet in itself. Cool. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it there, everyone. Like I said, watch Dominion on YouTube. I'm going to get off now. I've been on here for about an hour. How can we kill an animal because of taste and protein? So Vikash, I would urge you to go and watch Dominion on YouTube for free. Please go and watch it, because then you can learn the reality of what is happening to... I know that you said that you eat and drink cheese and milk because you know, for protein, but you can actually get protein from loads and loads of different plant sources. And yeah, I think it's really important for us to learn and understand what is happening to animals in our name so that we can make informed decisions. So go on to YouTube and search Dominion the documentary. Go on there and find out for yourself what is happening in these industries, or click on the link, the first link in the description of this video. It's a 6-minute documentary which shows you within 6 minutes alone the reality of what is happening to animals in your name. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being here, and I'll hopefully see you again. Thanks, Jake. I'll see you later. Bye.